Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is going to be a question to the vinyl community, a question to see if you kind of think the same way that I do regarding purchasing concert tickets. Uh, I recently purchased a ticket to see Bob Dylan, who I've seen six times. This will be my seventh, which puts him as the most seen artist that I've seen live as of now. There were a couple of opportunities for me to purchase a ticket to see Bob. As you know, Bob just turned 85 years old. I didn't get to do a video as that happened over Memorial Day weekend, and I didn't have time to record anything. But Bob just turned 85 over Memorial Day weekend. And so, obviously, with that in mind, with 85 being quite the number, you start wondering, when is the last time going to be? Now, that's not the premise of this video. Obviously, this has been a conversation a lot on YouTube. The question at hand is, what kind of sacrifices are you willing to make to see your favorite artists at the end of their career? Now, I'm hoping Bob has 10 years left in him, 20 years left in him. I hope he's 105 and still playing. But knowing what I know about current Bob shows, and having seen Bob 4 times on his Rough and Rowdy Ways tour that lasted 6 years, I know that people go to these shows expecting one thing and end up leaving with, grumbling under their breath or wanting a refund, especially the casual fans. I've never left a Bob show thinking I hated it. Never. They've all been fantastic. Every time I've seen him, there's been something I've pulled from it. Even the last 2 times I saw him, it was twice in the same week. So never left a show feeling like that. And I've seen Bob from a lot of different angles. I've seen Bob from the fourth row of a theater. I've seen him toward the back of the balcony. But I've always seen him in these theaters that hold, about 3,000 people, whether that is the Altria Theater in Richmond, Virginia, or the Berglund Performing Arts Center in Roanoke, Virginia. I've also seen him in Winston-Salem. So I've seen Bob quite a bit. But they've all been inside these, beautiful, historic theaters. Bob is going on tour this summer. Outside of his Rough and Rowdy Ways tour, he's touring with Lucinda Williams and Jimmy Vaughn, the brother of Stevie Ray Vaughan. And there's no mention in the advertisements of a Rough and Rowdy Ways show. So my thinking is that this is going to be a very cool show with some songs that I haven't heard live in a long time, because he's been really focusing on his most recent record, Rough and Rowdy Ways, which is a great record. But I've heard that album now 4 times live. So it'd be nice to hear some other songs. Again, not a complaint. It's just going to be a cool thing if this is indeed the case. If it's just Rough and Rowdy Ways, I'll be happy. I'm seeing Bob for a 7th time. So that's where it comes in, the question. There are 2 opportunities for me to see Bob. Well, I should say there are 2 venues that I could see Bob within a reasonable distance of me. One was seeing Bob at the Allianz Amphitheater in Richmond, Virginia. And then there's another venue that he's playing for 2 nights, which is Wolf Trap up near DC in Bristow, Virginia. Richmond is about an hour and 15 away from me, and I've been to one show at the Allianz where I bought tickets. I saw The Head and the Heart. And then I was just recently there about a month ago with a buddy of mine. We kind of stood outside the venue and could look down and see the show and hear it perfectly. So I know what the Allianz is. I've been to Wolf Trap in the main Theater for 2 Avett Brothers shows about 3 years ago. So I know both venues about the same. The Allianz has no covering over top of it and is in the middle of downtown Richmond. Wolf Trap is kind of in this suburban neighborhood on National Park's land, and has this beautiful amphitheater, roof, vendors, all these, great things. It's a beautiful place. The issue is Wolf Trap is about 2 hours 25 from us. Again, Richmond is closer. I would much rather see Bob at Wolf Trap, but I would like to drive the distance of Richmond. And so the dilemma that this ended up causing was Wolf Trap tickets in about the same area were about $40 more than at the Allianz Theater. And I toyed with this back and forth, and I was thinking, is it dumb to not go to the closer show because I'm worried about weather? I'm thinking that it's going to be a less fan-based crowd and more of a crowd of, oh, Bob Dylan's in town, let's go. It might be fun. It might be cool. We know Timothée Chalamet. Whereas the Wolf Trap show, I think, is going to be a little bit more of an audience that knows what they're doing. They've been willing to pay the money. They're, more inclined to be a part of the arts with Wolf Trap's history. What I ended up deciding to do, and again, he's playing 2 nights on Wolf Trap. The Saturday night is going to be it was a little bit more full, and so the tickets that were left were very, very expensive. And there weren't many, maybe less than 10. The Friday show, which is the one I ended up deciding on, is I'm sitting in row S in the orchestra level, so I'm pretty far back. I'm just under the balcony, and again, knowing what I know, I'm probably gonna have a hard time seeing Bob. It's gonna be dark. They don't have a lot of lights, but I think it's going to be a more respectful crowd. I think obviously I'm not gonna have to worry about rain, and it's gonna be better acoustics. More money, a further drive, but I'm willing to make that sacrifice to see Bob. And I toured with it. I just bought the tickets the night before filming this. So again, the question kind of is, what are you willing to do for an artist? If it's one of your favorite artists, Bob being my favorite ever, are you willing to drive the extra, hour and a half with a little bit more money, knowing that you're probably going to have a better crowd experience and that you're going to be, protected by the rain elements, whatever it might be? We can use this for small venues. We can use this for stadiums. If it's one of your favorite artists, what kind of specifics do you want to go along with your ticket? Are you worried about the crowd around you? Are you worried about, parking? Whatever it might be. For me, I was willing to sacrifice a closer show for a better show. And I think truly that's going to be the case. And who knows, there might be a world where I end up driving to Richmond and kind of standing outside the venue to see him, which is a whole nother argument in my head entirely that I won't get into. But let me know what you think. Sorry that this was a little bit rambly, but I'm curious. You all go to concerts. Let me know how you handle these kind of situations in your head and rationalize it. So that is it for me. In the meantime, y'all be good, take care, and go see Bob. Bye now.